Okay, so I'm giving you examples of news that we're not hearing about. The alarm clock is broken. Okay, who here knows how to take a photo? Who knows how to take a photograph? Anybody here? Okay, a few people, good. Who here knows how to sew? Anybody here? Okay, a few people. A few people who still have their thumbs and they say they know how to sew. Who here knows how to cook? Okay, sounds good. Okay, here. Okay, I think we should change our whole medical paradigm. The left-wingers have been for years pushing us towards socialized medicine. Socialized medicine. We need more government control. I think we need a completely opposite paradigm for how we train up our medical professionals. I'm just giving you examples. We're not hearing the options, and it is hurting our society. If you can take a photo, okay, great. You're now a new X-ray technician. If you know how to sew, okay, put you to work doing stitches for people here. You know how to cook, you're now a pharmacist. Okay? What I'm saying is, okay, I had a friend in Oregon, he was an EMT, an ambulance driver. That's 2 years of training. You take someone from the worst point of health, either heart attack or a stroke or open wound bleeding or something like this, and you can keep them alive for a half hour to an hour, right, to get them to the hospital, right? So that takes 2 years for someone to learn how to run the defibrillator and all those other things, give a basic shot and things like that. So why isn't our medical paradigm, say, a 4-year degree? First 2 years, you have to have this emergency kind of training, and then you start doing specialized training, and then over the course of the career, you specialize in other things. You learn how to do surgery, you learn how to do deliver babies, you learn how to do infectious diseases or something like that. Our current paradigm is someone goes to school for 8 or 12 years, they're in debt for $500,000 or $1 million. It's unbelievable. And anyway, so our current paradigm is one that is that in the interest of the general public? No. So I'm just giving you this example because we're being squeezed down. I have a friend whose daughter is a 2-year-old daughter, and she hit her head on the dresser cabinet one evening, cut her head open. They go to the hospital. 5 stitches and $1,600 later. They don't have insurance. I have another friend whose daughter, about 8 years old, happened to be a little girl, and her chest felt funny. So they took her in, and the doctor put her on the EKG, but because, the whole medical malpractice stuff, if there's anything more they can do, they have to do it. He also doesn't have insurance. And it turned out nothing was wrong, but $2,800 later. That changes someone's life, right? I mean, there's some of these horror stories. Okay, so let's look at the numbers for schools briefly, and then I'm going to finish up here. I took a conservative number for schools. I said, what if we had $4,700 per student that's allocated basically by parental vote? The parent decides where the child's going to go to school, and you can move them once a month if you want to, okay? If you had $4,700, $4,700, it's actually a conservative amount compared. Some school districts are paying $8,000 or whatever. You can look up the numbers and stuff like that, the budgets. If you had 50 students in your school, you were starting the school, and within a year you had 50 students, that is $4,700 times 50, which is $235,000 for 50 students. $235,000. If you had 3 teachers at a salary of $50,000 each, that's $150,000, plus $35,000 salary for the school secretary, you would still leave about $50,000 for your other expenses of your classroom and stuff like that. $50,000 being $4,000 a month available. You and I could team up together. We could find 2 other teachers and start a school, right, for primary, right? The numbers are there. But many of the school districts now, what do they say? Oh, we need more money. We need more money. No, they don't. They need to add. And they need to stop spending it on stupid left-wing stuff. They need to be doing, the numbers are there that if we change the whole paradigm for the way our kids are educated, I mean, what if you decided, I really want a school with high sports. I want my child to have, good sport things, or I want my child to have good museums and art and stuff like that. Anyway, you can do this. At 3 teachers, $50,000 per teacher, plus 1 secretary, your average class size would be 17 students. If you had 100 students, the numbers are even better. You got double the money, still got a classroom size of 20 or 15 students each. I mean, all this money is going down the drain now. They're buying stupid stuff, but the numbers are there, okay? So let me finish up here. We need to get our news from honest news sources. And I know many of us are doing that, but I would encourage you that if you're paying money to help support the people who are trying to undermine us, please stop doing that. Second is, we need to start looking at ways to privatize the school where it's the parent that has the vote, rather than monolithic, monopolistic schools. And the third thing is the judicial review is unconstitutional. It's simply not. It's citizen review. We decide who our legislators are, and then they vote on the laws. Okay. Thank you very much for your time. Any questions? One or two questions here. Comments? Yes, ma'am.
You said in about 1970s, the news media started turning.
I'm generalizing. I think that you had in the 50s, the late 50s, early 60s, you had a change in, they took the Bible and prayer out of the schools in the early 60s. And so it takes time then as people are filtering into the side, what is most important, what is least important. And for many students, or a certain percentage of students, it's like, well, what's important, that's what the